Hi, my name is Matthew White. Welcome to my presentation on creating presentable live corporate data analysis through Tableau. I learned this skill set while presenting analysis at Ergon Energy Corporation Limited. I'll begin this presentation with a brief history of Ergon Energy, followed by some information around what the corporation does. I'll look at how this skill relates to my placement and your future. We'll then move into the training phase of this presentation, reviewing the learning outcomes, learning some key terminology and demonstrating an example of how to operate Tableau software. Finally, this pre-recorded presentation will conclude with the delivery of a certificate, references and some contact information. The electricity network started in Queensland in the 1930s and built up to a point in 1999 where many distributors and their retailers merged to form two natural monopolies. Ergon Energy Corporation Limited across most of Queensland, the grey and light blue here, and Energex in the southeast corner in the darker blue. These two companies, however, are now in the process of a merger along with Spark, their ICT provider, and Ergon Retail to become Energy Queensland. Ergon Energy builds and maintains the electricity network. They take electricity both direct from generators and from the transmission network to distribute it to commercial and residential customers. According to the Queensland Government, Ergon Energy manages 150,000 kilometres of power lines and 1 million power poles. Under their banners, there are 4,000 employees, $11.8 billion worth of assets, which includes 33 standalone power stations. I learned this skill working in the Asset and Information and Systems Governance section of the business. I was carried across a number of projects, starting out reviewing and preparing failure mode and effect analysis data, and ended up performing analysis for a network asset information quality project. This involved working directly with staff, analysing different issues, supplying analysis tools for future reviews, and anticipating future requirements. I frequently use Tableau Desktop as a simple, filterable analysis tool. At some point in your engineering career, you'll probably need to perform analysis on past data, whether it's asset records, asset operation statistics, population records, financing data, or something else entirely. You'll need to collect, analyse and present this data, or have someone else do that for you. The better you understand the process, the more control you have over the outcome, and the better your ability to manage errors. At the completion of this presentation, you'll be able to use discrete and continuous measures and dimensions in Tableau, build a table and a graph in Tableau from raw data, and build and display a filterable Tableau dashboard. Here I'll cover a few basic definitions you'll require for Tableau. Dimensions are discrete categorical information, whereas measures are quantitative numeric information. Continuous values form an unbroken whole, whereas discrete values are individually distinct. For this demonstration, I've downloaded the free Tableau desktop trial from their website. The following few slides explain how to download and install it if you get lost. You can also get a student registration key if you are studying and you want to use it for more than a month. My contact details are included at the end of this presentation if you want a copy of these slides so that you can work through this yourself. I've also included some slides on how to download the 2013 initiatives data that we use in this presentation, but you are of course more than welcome to use whatever data you like to try out Tableau. We'll now take a break from the PowerPoint and test out our Tableau software. So we'll start off by connecting to a text file since our initiatives data is in a CSV format, so we'll open that. And what we'll see here is the raw data down there. We'll go down to our sheet and we'll start building a table. So we'll use agency as the rows here, and it'll spit out all the different agencies in each row, and our total estimated expenditure is one of our measures. Now it's currently continuous, which is why we've got graphs here, but we'll make it discrete so we can build it into a table. Now our actual expenditure to date is showing up as a dimension, whereas we'd expect expenditure to be a number, a dollar amount. So we'll go to our data source and check out what's actually in that field. We can see here that it's mostly numbers, but there are a few text fields saying not reported. So what we'll do is go back to our sheet, we'll right click on this to create a calculated field, and we will create a calculated field that filters out all of that text data, which is all labelled not reported. So we'll create an if function here and treat them as nulls or empty fields where it says not reported, else treat it as an integer. And if this calculation works, we should see this field appear in the measures. There we go. So now we have it as a measure, and we can treat it as a discrete measure as well to get it into our table. Now, Tableau does expect text in the marks over here or something, so we'll throw in our actual expenditure into there so that we can see the dollar amount without that little ABC over the side. But we don't have dollars symbols there, so let's right click on these and change the default properties for the number format to currency so that we can see it in dollars. And we'll do the same for the estimated expenditure, default properties, number format, currency. Done. Now let's make this sheet into a graph. We want the table and the graph to go on our dashboard. So we'll right click on this and duplicate it. So our second sheet's exactly the same. And this time let's throw this all away. So we've got our agency and our estimated expenditure. And let's make this into a bar graph this time with our actual expenditure to date as the size. And let's color it by agency. Nice and pretty. We can see the difference now. And of course we can't actually see visually what the dollar amount is for the actual expenditure, so let's throw that in as a label. And there we go, we can see that one now. Now we'll name this sheet actual expenditure to date graph. And we'll name this first one as a table. There we go. Now what we've got to do is add some filters because we do want to do some analysis on this. So we'll include our funding source, use all values, we don't want to filter it until we get there, and primary driver, use all values. And because we've got a table and a graph, we want to apply this filter to all the worksheets so that those filters show up on both of them. Now let's go over and create a dashboard with this little button here, new dashboard. We'll drag and drop sheet 1 and sheet 2 on there, and there's our table and our graph. We'll click on analysis and add those two filters to the dashboard so they're visible. Funding source and primary driver, and I'll just throw this legend down the bottom so that we can see everything on the one page. And let's go hit to presentation mode, and we can see our graph and our table all there on the same page with the filtering. Now, this is where we ask questions. So let's say we want to know what's externally funded but has been agency or Commonwealth driven. There's our answer, and if we want to know for TMR, then 3.6 million, agency driven and Commonwealth driven. Now if you presented this to someone and they said, oh hang on, but what portion of that is actually Commonwealth driven? Then on the fly we can just take out the agency driven, and we can see that for TMR there's actually nothing Commonwealth driven, so it's all agency driven. This is a really straightforward, simple example, but it covers the main topic of your ability to carry something out there, to be able to present it to people, and it's pretty well all drag and drop. You can edit the fields on the fly like we did with that calculated field, and you can do analysis while you're presenting it. That concludes your introduction to Tableau. From this presentation, you should now be able to use discrete and continuous measures and dimensions in Tableau, build a table and graph in Tableau from raw data, and build and display a filterable Tableau dashboard. Now, if you've succeeded in meeting those learning outcomes, you can print out this slide, write down your name and stick this on your fridge to document your successful learning experience. This final page includes a reference list along with my contact details if you have any further questions or would like a copy of the PowerPoint slides. Thank you for listening. I hope this presentation has brought value to your future career.